Hey guys, my name is Bella. Welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be filming a tips and advice video for if you are planning on studying abroad. And I know a lot of you guys who watch my channel are in college or are about to go into college and you have dreams of studying abroad whilst you're in college. So I thought I would give you guys some tips and advice from my experience. Even though it was cut a little short, I still do have a lot of things to say about what to do while you're studying abroad, my advice, everything. So let's get into the advice. First big tip. Do not take the area around you for granted. When I was studying abroad in London, I really didn't go out to the area where my housing was. I didn't really go much past my own like one block to the train station for my housing, just because I was going to school and then we were doing other things on the weekend. So I don't really know too much about what was around my area and stuff. Like the only thing I'm aware of in my area was like the grocery store and the train station. I lived in Little Venice, which has like a river that goes through it. It's like such a cool area. So I didn't really go out and like explore that area because I thought I would have the time to, or it was just kind of where I lived. And so I thought, oh, I'll do it another day, you know. And then there just wasn't another day. And also like not even just the exact neighborhood that I lived in, but the area in general. Like some of the things that I like regret not doing is like going to the Tower of London and like seeing the jewels, and going to like Big Ben, even though that's covered up. Like I never got to do those kind of things just because I thought I would always have an open free weekend to go do it. And now it's not as easy for me to access. I'm gonna have to go fly back to London and go do all the touristy things if I really wanted to. So if you have a free day, plan something in your free day. Don't just take your free day to say, I'm just gonna lay in bed today, it's not a big deal, because you never know. Next tip. SIM cards. This is a very specific tip to Europe, but buy a Voxy SIM card. I'm not sponsored by them, I just really appreciate their service. When I landed in London, I needed data and internet so fast because I'm very impatient, and it was like stressing me out to not be able to have that. And so I bought a Vodafone SIM card at the airport as soon as I landed. Little did I know that that particular SIM card, you could only put so much on it, and once you put so much on it, it runs out and it's done, and you can't renew it monthly. So it's not easy, and the refill is like 4 times the price as the initial price that you bought it for. So that my life up, okay? It was so expensive, and I ended up having to change SIM cards and phone numbers halfway through my study abroad, because I couldn't just be patient and wait and figure out what actually like makes sense and works best. To me, I recommend Voxy specifically because it is, number one, it is the cheapest and it is the best for college students, and it's so easy. You can go to like a Vodafone store and get a Voxy SIM card, and then there are cute little add-ons that you can put on of things that don't use your data. Let's say you are in a place a lot where you might not have Wi-Fi, you don't know your situation. For me, I really like watching YouTube. They have an add-on package that you can add to your plan for like £5 to £7 extra, depending on what you need it for. So like they have an endless music plan. So any music app, Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, stuff like that, does not eat into your data if you buy that add-on package. So I bought the endless video streaming package as an add-on to my 20 gigs of data for the month. So I could use YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, any video streaming service I could watch on my data and not use any data. So that 20 gigs of data honestly did not even get used barely, except for like on Google Maps or something. It was in total for me, I used it for 2 months, and it was £22 every month, and it auto renews, so you don't really need to worry. So I suggest getting that SIM card because it will just make your life so much easier. Next tip. Bring your student ID, your study abroad letter, your passport or something. Bring those because there are so many student discounts in Europe. So many. Like, you think America has a lot of student discounts? Like, Europe student discounts like come out, like they just let you do literally anything. It's great. And if you're traveling to other places, so say you're in Europe and you're doing a study abroad in London like I was, and then you go to Paris, like bring your visa with you when you go out to places like the Louvre or the Arc de Triomphe, because you can get into those places for free or at an extremely discounted rate if you are a study abroad student, because technically you're there for long term, so you're technically a long-term resident. things, just the way that things work out. Honestly, it's so good. Clubs do student stuff all the time. Like if you have a student ID at a club, boom, 50% off. Like it's just so good. Student ID is so important. Always bring it. Next, get an Oyster Card that's a student Oyster Card. This is specifically for London, but I'm sure that there are student Metro passes in other European countries because they're very good at like student-centric pricing and whatnot. The student Oyster Card saved us so much money. So much money. Me and my friend group didn't get our student Oyster Cards until a couple weeks into school, and we spent so much money on the tube going because we didn't even have an Oyster Card, so we were just contactless paying all the time, and like going in between zones and having to travel, like having no choice but to do that, was just so expensive in comparison to the Oyster Card, because the student Oyster Card is already much cheaper than the normal Oyster Card. Number one, you're automatically getting a discount. That's first, and then you can pick between which zones that you want to be able to operate in without having to pay extra money. So we chose zone 1 and 2 because those are the most frequently traveled zones, and that's where we lived. We lived in zone 2 and our school was in zone 1, so it just kind of made sense to get those there. So that made travel super cheap, because traveling in between zones is more expensive than if you were to remain in one zone. Get a student Oyster Card, Metro card, travel card. Get a student version because it's just gonna save you a lot of money, obviously. Next tip, make a loose plan of all the countries that you would like to travel to while you are abroad, okay? Me and my friends had a basic loose plan, and then things got added as we went. But at the beginning, before we even touched down in London, we literally all sat down around and were like, okay, where do we want to go this month, this month, this month? We have 4 months, like let's plan out the weekends. Like what's the most interesting country? What do we have to visit? What do we have to see? Let's put it in a month. So a lot of the time when you're studying abroad, you're gonna get really busy, but you also have a lot of time to travel to different places. So it's really important that keeping a loose plan will help you kind of judge when you can fit certain things into your weekend once you get your class schedule. And then it'll kind of make travel plans and stuff easier for you. And that way you'll be able to hit 100% of the countries that you want to go to, because you already kind of had it planned out, and then you just had to make minor adjustments as you saw how like your work life fit in with your like traveling schedule. Guys, next tip's a very important tip. Keep a budget. That is something I just did not do. I just kind of eyeballed it, and it's really hard to just eyeball numbers, but like I did it. I was low-key pulling my hair out over it, but some of my friends had a very detailed Excel spreadsheet on how much they spent where, this trip, this trip, this trip, who does this, who did that, where, like literally the most detailed Excel spreadsheet. And I just don't have the energy or care to do that. But keep some sort of budget, even if it's just in your iPhone like notes, like, and it's just a list of like things that you spent. That way, if you keep a budget on how much you're allowing yourself to spend on each trip, you know how many trips you can go on. So that way it just like makes sense. So keep a budget, it's very important, and that way you're not gonna run out of money like a month left of your study abroad and be like, shh, I can't actually go on this last trip or two with my friends because I can't afford it because I spent a little too much over here and I didn't save enough for this final trip. So just keep a budget. In the same vein of keeping a budget, keep track of your Venmo charges. Because here's the thing, like charges in your bank statement, A, could be in a different language, so you have no clue what this is. And B, keeping track of so many things that you paid for, like paying for like 3 dinners or something, and then you put your card down for all 3 dinners. You don't know who ate what, you don't know what restaurant even is which one, who came with you to the restaurant. You don't want to charge somebody for something that they didn't even go to, like that doesn't make any sense. Like, just stay on top of your Venmo charges, because when I was in Greece, I had not charged my friends for Paris, which was a month ago. So we were all sitting at a table one day and we were like, you know what, let's just all do our Venmo charges right now. And everybody only had like 6 charges to do for the last like week. I had to go back in my bank statement, scroll all the way back and go, okay, who went with me to this dinner? What did we have? Oh, this dinner, okay. It was just a lot of mental energy, so I would suggest either do 2 things. You can do what I did, but more efficiently, which is take a picture of the bill, okay, to see what everybody got, and then divide it up immediately and send out charges immediately. Or you can do what my friends did, which also very efficient and very smart. Take a picture of the bill and enter it into an Excel spreadsheet, so that way they just Venmo you one time for every single thing that they spent on your card for that trip. Next tip, be a tourist in the city that you are in. Now, I don't mean be a tourist, like be like an annoying person. Not what I mean. Be a tourist of the home or host country that you are in for the first like 3 weeks. And what I mean by that is go to all of the most famous places if you have not already. Go to all of those places at the very beginning. So like London, go to Buckingham Palace, go to Kensington Palace, go see Big Ben, go see the London Eye, go to the Tower of London, go to every single like big major place immediately. So that way, once you're done being a tourist after your 3 weeks of getting to see all the cute things, you have time to go and see those like more underground like places that you would have never gotten to see because you wouldn't have had enough time. Next tip, embrace the culture that you're in as best as you can. Like personally for me, I did not like London. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like London. I don't like the place. I don't like the vibe. I don't like the energy. It just was not my favorite place to be. I'm a very New York person. I enjoy New York a lot. Like I liked London for the study abroad, but I did not like it to live there. Like a lot of that had to do with like the culture of the place and the kind of person that I am that like would function in that kind of culture. I think that to best enjoy your study abroad, you really need to embrace the culture that you're in and try to live that way, because I just don't think that I fully delved into that kind of like European mindset, because I don't know, it's not my zone. I don't know, I feel like if you put yourself in the mindset of that culture, you're gonna enjoy that culture a lot more, because obviously. And also, don't be that American that like tries to force their ideals upon other people in other countries, because you just don't need to do that. Last tip, most important tip, schedule your classes wisely. I was in a very lucky situation because my school basically lended itself to like make you be able to travel as much as possible and like do as much as you possibly could with your day. We only had classes Monday through Wednesday, and on those 3 days of classes, class didn't even start until like halfway through the afternoon, which meant you had the entire morning and part of the afternoon to go do some kind of activity in the city or in the area. And then there was no classes on Thursday, Friday, and obviously the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, which meant we had 4 days where we could go to any country. Class is done on Wednesday, pack Wednesday night, leave Thursday morning, come back Sunday morning or midday. That is the max amount of time that you would need and could utilize to see every possible thing you could want to see in a country if you're going for 4 days. 4 days is a very long time, I would just like to say. So if you have any control over how your schedule is made, I would suggest packing your classes towards the beginning, earlier parts of the week. Like overload your life on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday even, if you can't swing it to be that close. We had a lot of classes packed really tightly together on those days, but it really was worth it because Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we could just travel anywhere that we wanted, and it was so nice. And then just be able to gallivant around Europe. A dream, truly. So guys, those were all of the tips and advice that I had for a study abroad. I just came back from my study abroad. It was a magical experience, even though it was cut short, which I am so sad about. But these are all the tips and advice that I had. I hope this helped you guys out for when you guys go do your study abroad. I hope that y'all live your best life, do the best, and just have a great time overall. So guys, if you liked the video, make sure to like the video and don't forget to subscribe down below because it helps me out a lot. And don't forget to ring the little bell down below once you've subscribed so you'll be the first to watch when I upload a new video. Until next time, bye guys.